Hello, Officer Tony here. Today's video is about making a Strat into a Baritone Strat. Yeah, watch. It's gonna be, well, it's another crappy video from this channel. Stay tuned.
Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. And today, this is probably going to be part one of my series on converting a Strat to a Baritone Strat. So I ordered this Fender Baritone conversion neck, and supposedly all I have to do is put it on my Strat and I'll have a Baritone Strat. But of course, there's way more to it than that. But we're going to start by unboxing this. Where's my linoleum? I don't have a linoleum knife. I've got a fingernail clipper. Well, when in Rome. So, seems kind of large of a box to be a guitar neck, doesn't it? Maybe they didn't send me a guitar neck. Maybe they sent me a mic stand. Am I out of the shot? Look, my head's out of the shot. All right, come down here. All right, let's see what we got. Inside the big box is a smaller box. And some more of this stuff. Look what happened to my, oh man. Hang on. This is so embarrassing. You're supposed to not know that this is just a regular desk. Oh, jeez. Okay, gotta pop these? No, because when you squeeze one, the air just goes like elsewhere. You can't really get any satisfaction out of like popping these. Okay. That's a good sign. I'm seriously gonna break this stupid thing. Finally, I took the box out of the box, and now it's another box. It's another box. Genuine Fender replacement neck. It's a replacement neck, baritone neck, but Fender doesn't sell baritone Strats. So how can it be a replacement neck? It's replacement for a standard, but let's open it up so you can see too. So we have a neck installation guide. It shows you where the neck goes on the guitar, and says it's for Fender or Squire by Fender. It's good to know. This box reminds you of like a Red Ryder BB gun box for some reason. I don't know. I like this box. It's cool. So if you order a Fender neck, especially a baritone conversion neck, this is what you can expect. Look at this guy. This. I'm so excited. Hey, this is not bad. Now, the first thing I happen to notice, well, the first thing I'm noticing is somebody wrote in pen on the back, which is kind of interesting. And there are 6 holes and some magic marker. But it's a glossy neck, which I know sometimes on the website they'll say that this is not a glossy back neck, but this is definitely glossy. But I'll tell you what I do like. I don't feel the skunk stripe. This is really nice. This feels good. Says Fender Stratocaster, made in Mexico. So looks just like a regular Fender Strat neck, doesn't it? So there's a nut in here already, and I can tell that they've got starter slots in the nut here. So you cannot just buy this thing and put it on your Strat if you get it. The slots in the nut are barely there. They're really, really shallow. So you're going to have to cut the nut a little bit better yourself. And if you don't know how to do that, keep watching this video series and I'll teach you how to do it. The fretwork looks good. A little bit of goop on that fret, but they're very, very shiny. I don't know if you can see how shiny they are, but the frets are really polished. The fret ends feel really good. The edge of the fretboard is not rounded, and so that's something I'm going to be doing something about. So what I'm talking about here is this edge right here, right? On a guitar like, say, this guy here, the edge of the fretboard is rounded. It's not like a hard corner like that. It's more like rounded. This is an American neck. This is a Mexican neck. So rounded edges of a fretboard is something you pay extra for, but it's also something you can do yourself. So as part of this series, I'm going to be rounding the edges of this fretboard. Out of the box though, this is pretty impressive, I must say. The frets look immaculate. I don't know yet if they're level or not. That's going to be the next thing we check. They feel really good. Once I round the edges of this fretboard, I think that'll be good. So, something I want to point out here is Fender necks have 4 holes where the screws go in to hold the neck to the body. But if you'll notice on this guy, it actually has 6 holes. So if I hold this up next to a regular Strat, you can kind of see, yeah, it's about the same. You can kind of see here how much longer this neck is, which means when it's in the pocket, it's actually going to stick up about that much higher. Can you see her in my off screen? How's that? About that much higher. It's not a massive amount, is it? But it's enough. I'm really looking forward to doing this. By the way, this is my #1 Strat. This is not the Strat that I'm going to put this neck on. No. So I got my box of truss rod wrenches. I found the right one. It fits this neck, as you can see. And the next thing you would normally do is use a notched straight edge, right, to determine if the fretboard is straight, if the neck is straight, rather. There's an issue, though. The issue is that I've got 4 different notch edges. So I've got this one with 2, and I've got another one. And none of them cover 27-inch scale length. So I can either buy one of these notch straight edge for 27-inch scale length, which I will eventually do, and wait for that and wait another week. But I really want to get moving on this project. So what I did was essentially I just set this straight edge on top of the frets, okay? And then I adjusted the truss rod until it was touching all the frets. So that means that the frets themselves are flat now, or as flat as they're going to get. Doesn't necessarily mean the neck is perfectly straight. It looks straight, but you know, this is just going to have to do, because I don't want to wait to buy another one. So the next step then would be to kind of go through and check to see if there's any high frets. Now, the idea of a fret rocker is that you put it over 3 frets. If you could see this a little better. So it spans 3 frets. And then basically, if it rocks back and forth, it means the fret in the middle is too tall. And we've got the different edges here, so you can cover all the frets. So it's important when you're doing this using a fret rocker, you don't do it like this, because right here I can't see if I'm a little bit off. So if my angle is like off like this, that's not going to work. It's got to be perfectly straight. So what you really have to do is position yourself right over the frets. Look directly down and make sure. And I can tell you, this first fret here, this first 3 fret span, those are all the same level. So then we do 2, 3, 4. I'm doing this quick. Normally, it's probably a good idea to do all 6 string positions, but I'm just kind of whipping through this. So good so far. Switch edges. Yeah, these frets are remarkably flat. I don't think I'm going to have to do anything to it. That's astonishing. Well done, Fender. I forgive you for not giving me a truss rod wrench. So I'm going through all of them. Now, just because this neck that I bought has perfectly flat frets, it doesn't mean that if you buy a neck from Fender that the frets will be perfectly level. It doesn't mean that necessarily. It's a good idea to check. Now I'm getting up here. Again, I'm going through this pretty quick, but I'm impatient. Almost a teeny bit of a rock there, but not really. I'm going to call this flat. Perfect. What if they weren't? Well, If you have a high fret, there's a couple of ways you can deal with it. One way is you get a fretting hammer or a fret arbor press and you try to seat that fret a little bit better. Sometimes you can actually knock it into the wood just a little bit and you don't have to do like a big level crown. The other alternative is basically you level all the frets down with sandpaper and then you use a crowning file and you re-crown all of the frets. Then you use a fret end file and you file off the sharp parts of the fret ends, and then you polish the heck out of it, and it's like a half-day project, and it's a big pain. So I'm very happy that these frets appear to be really well leveled. I mean, they might not be flawless. I can't really tell because I don't have a 27-inch notched straight edge. That's what this is called. I don't have a notched straight edge, so they might be a teeny tiny bit off, but with a real quick check from the fret rocker, looks really good. Excellent. What's next? Well, I think next we'll take the strings off the old guy here. Yeah, let's do that next. So if you get a cordless screwdriver, you can buy one of these Dunlop things for like 15 bucks, I think it is. Or you can get one of those little cranky jobs, you know. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen both. If you get one of those hand crank things, don't get the black one, you'll lose it, especially on a stage. Get the bright orange, obnoxious one. Well, let me show you this. Normally it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, except in this case, in which case it is righty-loosey. So and make it seem more exciting for the video.
Just a little bit more. It's almost there.
Is this compelling? Right. Next, I simply use my wire cutters. Where's my wire cutters? Hang on. So why do you want to loosen the strings before you cut them? Well, that's easy. If the string is under full tension and you cut it, it will come off. It will separate in a very, very high velocity. And it can cut your hand, it could cut your finger, it can cut your lip if you're dumb enough to go like this. Right, so don't do that. Loosen the strings first. Cut, 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 cut. Now, interesting question. Will these tuners work on this neck? And the answer is, of course, yes, they will. They're Fender tuners. Check out the back of this brand new neck. See the holes? That's perfect, because that means that I can take these official Fender brand tuners and just swap them from this neck over to this one. About the only thing I'm going to have to do is the string tree here. I'm probably going to have to drill a hole in here to put the string tree in, because I will be needing a string tree. These are just run-of-the-mill Fender tuning keys, and they do not have staggered posts. So I'm going to need the string tree probably. This is not a close-up, I know. So I should be saying something like entertaining and witty right now to keep your attention, keep your interest. It's really hard to be witty on demand, you know? Tell knock-knock jokes, but I'd have to think of one, and then that would distract me from what I'm doing. The point isn't to be funny. I've gotten plenty of comments suggesting that I not attempt to do humor. Some people don't think I'm funny. Well, that's fine. Watch something else. I don't care. This is not my day job. I'm a web developer. I don't even make money doing this. Why am I doing it? I'm doing it for the people out there who do think I'm funny, or at a minimum, tolerate my humor. You know, if I annoy you, go watch something else. Okay, so I'm going to loosen one of these tuners up. Yes, and I'm going to show you something cool. So, this is the official Fender tuning key. And if you'll notice on the bottom here, hard to see, right? Maybe you can see. There's two little posts sticking out of the bottom. And those two posts line up with the two holes, the two little holes in the back here. So, when you insert this guy, look at that. It lines up perfectly. That's awesome. Something to think about if you're going to do this. So if you've got authentic Fender tuning keys, you can just, and they're the two post variety, you can just reuse them, which is awesomeness. That's great. See if I can take the rest of these off. When I'm taking these off, you know what? It's probably a good idea to keep the pieces together so you don't lose them. Isn't that a good idea? Is this compelling viewing yet? This is my first Fender Stratocaster. This guy right here. It's really old. It's from like 2004 or something. And it's been refret probably 5 or 6 times. It's pretty much shot. There won't be another refret for this. It's a Mexican neck. It's not worth a fortune. Has some sentimental value. That's about it. But I think I'm really going to enjoy having a Baritone Strat. I've already got, no, I put it away. I've already got the black Strat, and that's got the custom shop pickups in the American neck. And, you know, one really, really good thing about the Strat, and also the Telecaster, but especially the Strat, you can get a Mexican Strat, you can get an American Strat. You can get a Mexican Strat body and put an American neck on it, and it works just fine. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of Squires that will work with the exact same neck. And so it's kind of cool that you can interchange parts so easily. It makes the Strat one of the best guitars for modding. And speaking of which, I've got 3 Tex-Mex pickups in here, 2 single coil, and then this humbucker. This is high output. They're both relatively high output. I mean, all 3 of them are. But I think this is going to be cool for a baritone guitar because I've got the single coil sound if I want it, right? And I've also got the humbucker sound if I want it. So I'm hoping this is going to work out really well. Now, why would you want a baritone guitar? Well, if you do any kind of metal, you would want it because you can go low, 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 even lower, lower, which is kind of cool. If you are like me and you're a bass in terms of singing, then it's kind of cool that you can have a guitar that's basically down-tuned by quite a bit. And that means that you can play some chord shapes that normally you wouldn't be able to sing over, but on a baritone, you're singing a lot lower. So that's kind of cool. For clean sounds, it's really a neat sound, the baritone guitar. It's kind of distinctive. You'll hear when this video series is done, hopefully. S bemol. Why do you suppose this says S bemol on the back in ink? Maybe I got a special neck. Maybe Stephen Bemol is like the master luthier at the Mexican plant, and Senor Bemol signed this one a special, and so I got this special neck. I can't speak to that, but what I can say is, again, I can't get over it like the skunk stripe. You can't feel it at all. This is a higher quality neck than I was kind of expecting. It feels really good. Here's something you might not know. When you are putting a Strat neck on, you know, this screw should not hang inside the body at all. So in other words, the hole that goes through the body should be big enough that this screw can freely pass through it like that without having to cut into the wood. And the reason for that is that you're going to get more, basically you're going to get more strength in your connection with the wood, with the neck, if this thing's not also going through this block of wood here. Man, look how beat up this wood is. This poor guitar, I've experimented on it for almost 2 decades. You know, I think I want to give you a close-up view of the starter slots that they cut in this nut. So let me bring this over to the camera. Okay, so right here they look perfectly fine, but if I do this, let's see if you can see where my thumb is here. Okay, see how shallow these cuts are right here? There's a really good view. See how shallow these are? These are nowhere near deep enough. They're going to have to be significantly deeper, and for that we're going to use a nut slotting file, but that's going to be in probably the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you tune in next week for part 2 of this series. I will see you hopefully again next Friday at 5.